Hey everyone, Alan Bauer here, Bay City, Michigan, and it's Saturday night, and I want to do this video on what's called the Fifth Agreement by Don Miguel Ruiz. Initially, he wrote a book, it was called The Four Agreements, and it was a pretty good book, and it's one of the books I read years ago, and it really kind of helped me to focus on things. But the Fifth Agreement, what he has is be skeptical, but learn to listen. And the reason I wanted to bring this up, we're in very trying times, and this is a polarizing society at times. And you can go on the internet today and you can find anything you want. Let's take the pandemic, for instance. Let's say you believe everything about this pandemic is a hoax. You can go on the internet and you can search articles that will support your opinion that show that everything's a hoax. If you believe that, this is the deadliest virus that's going to wipe out all of mankind if we don't, do a total 100% lockdown, you can find articles on the internet that are going to support that view. So I took two extremes here, but a lot of us fall somewhere in the middle. And I'd like to think, well, we all think we all think we have common sense, but what my common sense is may offend somebody else. What your common sense is could offend somebody. We all think we're the only one that think common sense, and everybody else is stupid a lot of times. So the purpose of the Fifth Agreement was to, be skeptical. Be skeptical about everything you hear, but learn to listen. And, I'm as guilty as this too. I have my own opinions on things, and it's very easy sometimes to get stuck into that opinion and just search for things that back your opinion and never look at anything else. So what I try to do, using Don Miguel Ruiz's advice, is to go out there and listen to both sides. Listen to every other argument out there and go look that up. And what happens a lot of times, sometimes you find a little bit of truth in everything. And it doesn't mean I'm going to change my opinion. Sometimes I do. But the odds of us going out, you can see these Facebook arguments on there. Two people, it's like two people can agree on 98 things out of 100. And there's two things out of those 100 that they disagree on, and they tend to focus on that instead of saying, well, we agree on 98% of things. But they'll find those two things and right away like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you believe that. You're one of those people. You just don't care about anybody, blah, blah, blah. And now I do have some friends that are very cool. We disagree on, on a couple things, but there's a lot of other things we agree on. But we're respectful of each other, and I can see their point of view. So I always try to put myself in somebody else's point of view. And I look at that and I say, okay, let me understand why they're thinking that way. So I try to understand their point of view, and I get it. I put myself in their shoes and I say, okay, I can understand why they think this way, or, their situation is different than mine. So sometimes it makes sense. And once I see their point of view, I can respect that. Now, sometimes I still look at some of these views out there and I say, whoa, this person's like way out there. And, they're out in outer space there with their point of view. And I don't have to agree with it, but I can just respectfully disagree with them. So that's one of the things that, that I'm looking at. Even when it comes to, politics, you can go out there and you can find things about, your president or your governor or whatever politician that's out there. And you can find things that make them into, they're always 100% right or they're 100% wrong. And you can find articles to back that up, no matter what they say. What I kind of think is funny is sometimes when these people do these videos, and they'll actually take the opposite point of that person and they'll lie to the people when they're doing the interview, and they'll say, well, this politician said this, this, and that. And people are like, oh, yeah, I agree with everything. And then at the end of the video, they say, no, actually, they didn't say that. The other person did. So it's kind of funny how, people's bias can affect their judgment. So just something to think about. We all have our different opinions. Just because somebody doesn't think 100% the way we do doesn't, mean that, they're a certain way, they don't care about people, or, they're selfish and all they worry about is themselves and we got to get in this big argument. Now there are some people out there that are just really, really bad and negative and they want to cut you down, things like that. There is a function on Facebook where you can just defriend somebody and actually block them. So I have used that also. Maybe some people have done that to me because they don't agree with me, and that's fine. That's an option that's out there. But what I do find dangerous that's happening is, what I call censorship. And, censorship is like forbidden by the government, but it's not really forbidden by private entities. So Facebook, for example, is a private entity. However, even though it's a private entity, yes, they have the right to do it. It's a free service. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. But the bottom line is we've become so accustomed to using Facebook that all of our information, a lot of our news, everything, that's kind of our first source for a lot of things. So what I find disturbing is when they actually block something. They have these fact checker things. And I've shared a video before, and all of a sudden you get this threatening message from Facebook that says, like, our fact checkers found this is false. And if you keep sharing these videos, we're going to, make sure nobody else ever sees anything you write, or we could boot you off, and these are harmful. And then, like, a week later, it comes out on the news, and all of a sudden, what I actually shared is now known as the truth, but yet they said it was false. So Facebook sent me another thing, another threatening message, says, well, this isn't false anymore, but it's partially false, because they can never be wrong. So I have an issue with that. I would rather have even somebody that has like this conspiracy theory that I may disagree with. I would rather have people put that out there instead of Facebook taking that off. And then we have an intellectual conversation about that. That's just kind of the way I roll. I would rather have everybody have the free speech to say whatever they want. And even if I think they're way out there, I'd rather have like a discussion and see why they think the way that they are. But, maybe that's just me. Some people want to be protected on everything and, have these fact checkers. I prefer to use my own mind and make my own decisions. And like I said, sometimes based on new data, I may believe one way. Like maybe a couple of years ago, I believed a certain way, but since I've had new data and I'm open to it, I can change my opinion. A lot of people don't, though. They're stuck in their ways, and they're going to only go out there and Google search anything that supports it and never look at anything else out there. So maybe you don't like this video, maybe you do. I just thought I'd put it out there. Basically, on the fifth agreement, again, be skeptical, but learn to listen. So I think the important thing is, even if we disagree, I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to listen to your side of the story, and then I'll look at your facts and everything, and I will see certain things that a lot of times I'll say, like, okay, I can understand how you view this and why you think this way. However, I agree with this part of what you're saying, but there's this part that I don't agree with, and here's why. And maybe at the end, like I do have some friends that are very cool. They say, we'll just have to disagree on this. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And like I said, we may agree on 98 other things. So I try to focus on that. Not about what divides us, but what about unites us. And when it comes to this whole pandemic thing, I don't think anybody really has 100% answers. None of us know 100%. And things do change day to day. There's new facts and data that, one day something seems like this, so we follow it, and all of a sudden something else comes along, and it's not a one-size-fits-all. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there. That's all I have for tonight, and let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks.